Well, welcome. Today we're going to talk about recruiters and how you might be able to get on their good side or what you can expect about working with a recruiter. I have got Natalie Washington here. She owns JWN Recruitment. My name is Lynn Desert. I'm an executive career coach. We'll be back with you in just a second. So, Natalie, I get this question all the time with clients that I work with. They want to know, how can I find a recruiter? How can I have a recruiter go find a job for me? And, we walk down this little slippery slope, but I have to think that from your perspective, you probably get phone calls all the time, people wanting to connect with you. And so maybe can you give us a little bit about maybe the life of a recruiter and what it's really about and just how you kind of manage the expectations of people who do approach you?
Absolutely. So if you reach out to a recruiter without a specific job in mind, what I typically do would be to respond to your email and or your phone call and let you know that I received the information. However, at this time, I don't have anything for you that fits your qualifications and experience. I would also talk to you a little bit about what you could expect in the future. So I would say, you know, I don't have anything at this time. We'll certainly keep you in our database should something come up in the future, and kind of give you an idea of how often it would be appropriate to reach out to me and communicate with me, depending on your level of skill set and the type of jobs that I'm working on at that time.
Right, right. So one of the things that I do suggest is that especially if you are working in a very narrow vertical, and when I say narrow vertical, and some of these verticals may be not real narrow, but biotechnology or astrophysics or whatever. There are recruiters out there that specialize specifically
Absolutely.
in those industries, correct?
Absolutely.
And those are probably the ones that are more apt to be interested in you if you have that specific background because they're working with a lot of companies in those industries. Would that be a
That's
good
correct.
assumption?
And so what you do want to do is to do your research and find those agencies that specialize or niche in those silos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that would be another recommendation. Just as we know, accounting and finance is another silo. It might be a little bit broader, but there are agencies out there
Mm-hmm.
that specialize or niche just in accounting and finance. And if that's who you are, that is the type of agency that you're going to want to connect yourself with primarily. And you can use an agency that is more broad, but probably won't get work as readily as if you went to an agency that was in your specific vertical.
Well, broader ones I would think are a bit more relevant for location. So, for example, you work out of the Rochester area, and you probably have I know you're doing a lot more national searches right now, but you've got your pulse on because you know the community and everything else that's there. That a generalist in the recruiting, if you wanted to stay in the region, would make sure you hit the generalist recruiters around you in that region, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And this is a scenario too where you don't ever want to put all your eggs in one basket. So I would pick 2 or 3 different ones, and you don't know at the end. So maybe you start out with 5 and then you realize, oh, I connect more readily with these 3. Maybe it's personality, or maybe it's the way you've been treated, or you have a different confidence level because of the interaction. And so those are the ones that you want to keep connected with and develop that relationship.
Right. Very good. The other thing that I find is that, if you're in the job hunting process, you've got lots of questions. And, I recognize that oftentimes you want to find somebody you can ask those questions to. And when you get a hold of a recruiter, boy, you probably start barreling those questions and you'd want to spend a lot of your time.
Yes.
But, is that really on a personal side, is that a good use of your time? I mean, I know that you guys want some answers, but we have to remember there's two people in this relationship, even if it's a professional relationship, and having respect for each other's time and whatnot. But really, what's your focus?
So when you come to me, I'm typically working other opportunities, and many of those opportunities will likely not fit what it is you're looking for. So that's where sometimes the breakdown comes in, and when people on the other side of the fence, yourself, become discouraged and don't understand, why they're not getting the assistance,
the attention. You're not calling them back every day, right?
Exactly. And in my scenario, in many agency scenarios, we are paying the attention to the jobs at hand and are connecting with and giving our time to those people that can fit those jobs. Now, on some occasions, I try to get in exploratory interviews, and I try to keep them to 15 to 20 minutes, whether that's on the phone or meeting someone in person, so they can have an opportunity to do that. But when we're in a busy time and our time is filled with many jobs, we don't have that opportunity to make that connection with you. So sometimes I suggest to people, and I tell them it may be a certain period of time, might be 2 weeks, it might be 24 hours, whatever it is. Sometimes I say, draft me an email with a few questions, and I can send you some responses to those questions via email. And sometimes that works too. Okay. And then that's kind of accommodating both ends of the party.
But it's interesting, and I just wanted to make note of this, that if you do find a recruiter who's willing to give you time, exploratory interview time, and even if it's 15 to 20 minutes, make the best use of that 15-20 minutes as you possibly can, right? Be prepared, know what you're going to say, and make it concise. And you want to practice it, because it basically is a mini interview that you're having at that point in time.
Absolutely. Right. And it gives us our first impression of you, so we're comfortable referring you either to another agency or to an employer that comes up later down the road that we might not have been working with at that moment that we had a discussion.
Right. So one of the things that I find too, that I talk with clients, is that they make this assumption that again, you have all this time to spend with them. But the fact of the matter is that Natalie, other agencies, other recruiters, they get paid when they fill a job for a company, and it's the company who's paying them. So we have to remember, we got to follow the money trail and say, where is their first priority? Their first priority is to make sure that they're meeting the needs of their clients. You become kind of a client when you enter into the interview process and become a candidate, and then you're part of that whole process. But until that point happens, really their focus primarily is on the client.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate. Sometimes it's hard to hear, but I believe it's better for you to understand the process, so you're not feeling that you're being slighted or that we don't care. It's just kind of a return on investment scenario. Right. So, we are going to give you as much attention as we can if you are a potential candidate for the jobs that we have available. Otherwise, you end up being kind of a secondary piece of the process until we get those jobs filled, and perhaps can make some time to spend with you on an exploratory level.
So we hope that these tips were beneficial. And if you have any additional questions, comments, please leave them in the comments below. And who knows, we might do a follow-up video with some of your other questions. And have a great day.